the sun's protective bubble, the heliosphere, is shrinking, and scientists don't know why. Now, we have this diagram here of the heliosphere. We know that the sun is about 94 million miles from the Earth, and that's the distance of 1 AU. The solar wind goes to a distance of about 67 AU from the sun, and the terminal shock, the bow shock, is at from 76 AU to 94 AU, and the heliosphere is anywhere between 80 to 100 AU. The heliopause is right outside of that, is at 121 AU. And we see these have been imaged by Voyager 1 and 2. And according to Cora, Martin Silverton, astronomy enthusiast, says, the heliosphere is a bubble-like region of space around the sun which governs the interaction between the sun's solar wind, a stream of charged particles released from the upper atmosphere of the sun, and the winds of the interstellar space. The heliosphere consists of several components. The heliospheric current sheet, that's a ripple extending through the heliosphere created by the rotating magnetic field of the sun. The sun rotates once every approximately 25 days, and so the magnetic field transported by the solar wind gets wrapped in. Now, we know that the sun's protective bubble is shrinking, according to What's Up With That, Anthony Watts, from the UK Telegraph. The protective bubble around the sun that helps to shield the Earth from harmful interstellar radiation is shrinking and getting weaker. This is according to NASA scientists, and they're warning us. New data revealed that the heliosphere, the protective shield of energy surrounding our solar system, has weakened by 25% over the last decade. Now, this article is from 2008, so it's over 12 years ago. 25% up to that time, and it's now at its lowest level since the space age began 50 years ago. Scientists are baffled. What could be causing this? What could be causing the barrier to shrink in this way, and are to launch missions to study the heliosphere? The Interstellar Boundary Explorer, or IBEX, launched from aircraft on Pegasus rocket into an orbit of 150,000 miles above the Earth, and that in that position it will listen, quote unquote, for the shock wave that forms as our solar system meets the interstellar radiation. Dr. Nathan Schwardron, co-investigator on the IBEX mission at Boston University, said, the interstellar medium, which is part of the galaxy as a whole, is actually quite a harsh environment. There's a very high energy galactic radiation that is dangerous to living things. Around 90% of the galactic cosmic radiation is deflected by our heliosphere, the sun's bubble that is, so the boundary protects us from this harsh galactic environment. The heliosphere is created by the solar wind, a combination of electrically charged particles and magnetic fields that emanate at more than 1 million miles an hour from the sun, meet the intergalactic gas that fills the gaps in space between the solar systems. At the boundary where they meet, a shock wave is formed that deflects interstellar radiation around the solar system as it travels through the galaxy. The scientists hope that the IBEX mission will allow them to gain a better understanding of what happens at this boundary and help them predict what protection it will offer in the future. Now, without the heliosphere, the harmful intergalactic cosmic radiation would make life on Earth almost impossible by destroying DNA and making the climate uninhabitable. Measurements made by the Ulysses Deep Space Probe, which was launched in 1990 to orbit the Sun, have shown that the pressure created inside the heliosphere by the solar wind has been decreasing. Dr. David McComas, principal investigator on the IBEX mission, said, Quote, "It is a fascinating interaction that our sun has with the galaxy surrounding us. This million-mile-an-hour wind inflates this protective bubble that keeps us safe from intergalactic cosmic rays. With less pressure on the inside, the interaction at the boundaries become weaker and the heliosphere as a whole gets smaller." End quote. Now, if the heliosphere continues to weaken, scientists fear that the amount of cosmic radiation reaching the inner parts of our solar system, including our Earth, will increase. This could result in growing levels of disruption to electrical equipment, damage satellites, and potentially even harm life on our Earth. But Dr. McCormick added that it was still unclear exactly what would happen if the heliosphere continued to weaken, or what the timescale for changes in the heliosphere are. He said, quote, "There is no imminent danger, but it is hard to know what the future holds. Certainly, if the solar wind pressure was to continue to go down and the heliosphere were almost to evaporate, then we would be in the sea of galactic cosmic rays. That could have some large effects. It's likely that there are natural variations in solar wind pressure, and over time it will either stabilize or start going back up again." And this was on, it's on What's Up With That, and it was on The Guardian from NASA. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.